sojourns. Most often I refer to migrant groups in terms of their country or geographic region of origin: Mexican, Chinese, European, Asian. I distinguish migrants from U.S.-born or naturalized citizens when required by context. I use Japanese American and Chinese American as shorthand for all Japanese or Chinese in America. However, I do not use Mexican American in the same way, because the multi-generational, multi-status ethnic Mexican population under study here is better understood as a transnational or borderland community. I use Mexican American to refer to naturalized or native-born U.S. citizens of Mexican descent. I do not use Filipino American because for most of the period covered by this book, Filipinos and Filipinas were colonial subjects of the United States. On occasion, I use terms that are outmoded or otherwise problematic if it makes sense in historical context: Negro, Asiatic, Oriental, Caucasian. Because all labels are constructs of some sort, and for reasons of style, I have kept the use of scare quotes, illegal alien, Asiatic, etc., to a minimum. Chinese proper names and phrases are rendered in pinyin, save for public figures whose names are known by old-style romanization, for example, Chiang Kai-shek, Kuomintang, persons whose names include an American first name, and persons whose names appear in legal records in transliterated Cantonese. Japanese proper names are written with given name first, surname second. The U.S. Immigration and Naturalization Service, the federal agency that is the subject of much of this study, has a long bureaucratic history. Congress created the Bureau of Immigration in 1891 and placed it in the Department of Commerce and Labor. When that department divided in 1913, the Bureau remained in the Department of Labor. The Immigration Service was the field organization of the Bureau. The Border Patrol, which Congress established in 1925, was a unit of the service. In 1932, the Bureau of Immigration and Bureau of Naturalization merged to become the Immigration and Naturalization Service, INS. In 1940, Congress moved the INS to the Department of Justice. I have tried to keep confusion over nomenclature to a minimum. In general, I have referred to the agency by the name in use at the time of the period under discussion. To protect their privacy, I have used pseudonyms or initials when referring to individuals who appear in unpublished INS records, including transcripts of interrogations, reports of apprehensions, and records of confessions, and in field notes and correspondence in the Japanese evacuation and resettlement study papers. Names of public officials and agency personnel have not been changed. Forward to the new paperback edition. This new edition of Impossible Subjects comes during a time of intensified public debate in the United States over unauthorized migration and immigration policy reform. Existing and potential undocumented migrants continue to animate the central questions of immigration policy: legalization and the requirements of citizenship, border control and deportation, the labor market, family unity and separation. Indeed, many of the foundational issues of immigration restriction discussed in Impossible Subjects remain pertinent today. At the same time, the past 10 years have seen some notable changes in American demography and politics, as well as in the field of immigration history. It seems appropriate to introduce new listeners of Impossible Subjects by way of some comments on how the book fits into these changing landscapes of politics and scholarship. I began researching and writing about the origins of illegal immigration to the U.S. as a dissertation topic in the mid-1990s. I found those origins in the restrictive immigration laws that Congress legislated in the 1920s and the border control measures implemented thereafter. Positive domestic law, not race, culture, or bad character, produced illegal aliens. An insight that would not be so novel but for pervasive stereotyping of Mexicans and other Latinos and Latinas in 20th century American society. As I examined the history and contours of restriction, my thinking was influenced by recent scholarship on the historical nature of race and the nation. Two categories.